Have you ever eaten something you thought was perfectly healthy, only to later wonder why your legs feel heavier, stiffer, or just not as strong as they used to be? You're not alone. Most of us, especially after turning 60, were taught that fruit is nature's gift to our health, natural, full of vitamins, and always a good choice. But here's something I've learned after over 10 years working with older adults in wellness and functional health. Not all fruits are friendly to aging bodies. In fact, some of the most common ones may be quietly weakening your legs, draining your energy, and even interfering with your ability to walk, stand, or move without pain. And the most surprising part? You're probably eating them every week, thinking you're doing something good. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to natural sugars, acids, and even the way certain compounds affect our joints, nerves, and blood flow. What once gave us energy in our 30s can now cause inflammation, fluid retention, or blood sugar spikes that slowly eat away at our mobility. I've seen seniors struggling with leg fatigue, swelling, cramps, or that subtle tightness that makes climbing stairs feel like a workout. And in many cases, it wasn't because they weren't trying, it was because they were unknowingly eating the wrong fruits for their age and condition. So if you've ever felt frustrated by unexplained leg pain, or like your strength just isn't what it used to be despite eating healthy, this video might be exactly what you need. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal the 7 worst fruits that may be silently damaging your leg strength, and more importantly, what fruits to eat instead to support healthy circulation, joint comfort, and real muscular endurance. Now, before we dive in, if any part of this resonates with you, please take a second to tap the like button, subscribe for more senior-focused health insights, and drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're watching. If not, feel free to comment 0. Your feedback truly helps me create better content for you. Let's get into it, because strong legs aren't just about exercise or age. They're about what's on your plate. And by the end of this video, you'll be empowered to make smarter choices that help you walk taller, stand stronger, and live with more freedom, starting with the very next bite. 1. Pineapple, the silent inflammation trigger. Let's begin with a fruit that many seniors trust and even enjoy on a regular basis, pineapple. It's sweet, tropical, and often celebrated for its supposed health benefits, especially for digestion and inflammation, thanks to an enzyme called bromelain. But what if I told you that for people over 60, this beloved fruit might not be the friend you think it is? In fact, it may be quietly fueling the very inflammation you're trying to avoid. You see, as the body ages, our tolerance to natural sugars and acids changes dramatically. Pineapple is rich in both high levels of fructose and citric acid, which can spike blood sugar and irritate already sensitive joints. In my years working with older adults, I've seen how even small amounts of pineapple can trigger flare-ups in those with arthritis, gout, or poor circulation. It often starts subtly, a little soreness in the knees, a dull ache in the thighs, ankles that feel swollen after a walk. And it's easy to dismiss it as just aging, but the truth is, these are signs of inflammation building up inside your body. Even more concerning is how pineapple can interact with common medications. Bromelain, while beneficial in small, therapeutic doses, may interfere with blood thinners and anti-inflammatories, making side effects like bruising or leg weakness more likely. Many seniors take these medications daily without realizing that their innocent fruit snack could be affecting how the body responds. And here's something else I've observed. Pineapple tends to be eaten in larger portions, often fresh or in smoothies, which leads to a concentrated dose of sugar and acid all at once. That combination can inflame small blood vessels in the legs, the very vessels responsible for carrying oxygen and nutrients to your calves, knees, and feet. Without that support, muscles tire more quickly, joints feel stiffer, and recovery from simple activity becomes slower. Now, I'm not saying you need to eliminate pineapple forever. But if you're eating it frequently, especially alongside other high-sugar fruits, it may be time to ask, is this really helping my legs feel stronger? Or am I unknowingly making it harder for them to support me? And don't worry, this is just the beginning. Because if a fruit as famously healing as pineapple can stir up inflammation in aging legs, wait until you see what the next fruit on our list, bananas, might be doing to your strength and circulation. You won't want to miss it. 2. Banana, the muscle imposter. Now, if pineapple surprised you, this next one might shake your trust even more. Because bananas, yes, bananas have long been praised as a go-to fruit for muscle support. Soft, easy to digest, and packed with potassium, they've earned a reputation as a must-have for leg cramps and energy. But here's what I've learned through working with hundreds of older adults. that yellow fruit might not be helping your muscles the way you think it is. As we age, our body's ability to regulate blood sugar and insulin declines. What many don't realize is that bananas, especially when fully ripe, are high in fast-digesting carbohydrates and natural sugars like glucose and sucrose. That combination leads to a rapid blood sugar spike, followed by a crash, and that crash can take a serious toll on aging muscles. You may have noticed that after eating a banana, your energy lifts briefly, then your legs feel sluggish, your calves feel tight, or you get that strange ache in your thighs when climbing stairs. That's not in your head. It's a real response to what's happening inside your bloodstream. Insulin surges, caused by these sugar spikes, can interfere with circulation to your lower limbs. Over time, that means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reaching the very muscles you rely on to stand, walk, and stay balanced. Even more concerning, bananas can contribute to water retention, especially in older adults who are managing heart conditions or are on certain medications. That retained fluid often settles in the ankles and lower legs, adding to the feeling of heaviness, discomfort, and reduced mobility. Now, does this mean you should never eat bananas again? Not necessarily. But daily consumption, especially without balancing them with fiber, protein, or fat, can become a slow drain on your leg strength. What seems like a simple, healthy snack might actually be undermining the very muscles you're trying to protect. In my practice, I've seen seniors improve circulation and reduce leg fatigue simply by cutting back on high-glycemic fruits like bananas and replacing them with options that support steady energy and lower inflammation. And if bananas, so widely celebrated for muscle health, can quietly weigh your legs down, just imagine what a bowl of tiny, sugary grapes might be doing to your joints, circulation, and nerve function. Stick with me, because the next fruit might look innocent, but its impact on your legs could be bigger than you think. 3. Grapes. Tiny fruit, big inflammatory impact. If bananas can drain your leg strength in silence, then grapes, despite their innocent size, might just be doing more damage than you think. They're soft, sweet, bite-sized, and often associated with heart health and longevity. Many seniors snack on grapes thinking they're a light and healthy choice. But over the years, I've come to see them differently, especially when it comes to inflammation and joint pain in older adults. Here's why. Grapes are loaded with fructose, a natural sugar that behaves quite differently from glucose. Unlike glucose, which your muscles can readily use for energy, fructose is processed primarily in the liver, where it's more likely to be stored as fat or converted into uric acid. And this is where the trouble starts, especially for seniors. Elevated uric acid levels can contribute to gout, a condition I've seen over and over in the older population. It often begins subtly, perhaps a burning or tingling in the big toe at night, or swelling in the ankle that appears for no clear reason. But over time, the joints become inflamed, and the pain can be sharp, persistent, and disabling. Even in those without a gout diagnosis, high-fructose fruits like grapes tend to amplify systemic inflammation, which worsens conditions like arthritis, poor circulation, and muscle fatigue. And the worst part? Grapes are so easy to overeat. A handful here, a few while watching TV, some with breakfast, and suddenly, your sugar load is higher than you realize. What's more, grapes have a high glycemic load when eaten in large quantities, meaning they can still cause blood sugar spikes, especially when paired with other fruits or carbs. That leads to oxidative stress, which damages the small blood vessels and nerves in your legs. Over time, you might notice slower recovery, stiffness after sitting, or a subtle heaviness when walking, not because of aging alone, but because your legs aren't getting the support they need at the cellular level. Now, I'm not saying grapes are evil, but for aging bodies, moderation and awareness are key. If you're already dealing with joint sensitivity, swelling, or circulation issues, this tiny fruit may not be as harmless as it looks. And if grapes, so small and sweet, can trigger inflammation and drain your energy, wait until you see what a seemingly refreshing fruit like watermelon can do to your legs, especially when your blood sugar control isn't what it used to be. Let's talk about it next. 4. Watermelon, the false hydrator. If grapes can stir up inflammation in silence, watermelon takes a different route by pretending to hydrate while secretly spiking your blood sugar. For many seniors, watermelon feels nostalgic. It reminds us of summer afternoons, family picnics, and the refreshing bite of something light and juicy. It's often seen as the perfect fruit, mostly water, easy on the teeth, and gentle on digestion. But here's the hidden truth. Watermelon isn't always as gentle as it seems, especially for aging bodies. While it's true that watermelon is over 90% water, it also contains one of the highest glycemic indexes among fruits. This means that it breaks down quickly in the body and sends a rush of sugar into your bloodstream faster than your aging system may be able to handle. And when blood sugar spikes like this, it triggers an inflammatory cascade that affects the very systems responsible for leg strength and mobility. In my clinical experience, seniors who consume watermelon regularly, especially without balancing it with protein or healthy fats, often report fatigue in the legs after meals or a feeling of heaviness during short walks. It's not just about calories, it's about how fast your blood sugar rises and falls, creating instability in your energy levels and reducing the oxygenation of muscle tissue. Even more concerning, sugar spikes often lead to fluid retention, particularly in the lower body. That fluid doesn't just disappear, it settles in the soft tissues of your ankles, knees, and feet, making movement more painful and recovery slower. If you've ever noticed that your legs swell after meals or feel unusually tight, this may not just be age, it may be a reaction to high GI fruits like watermelon. And let's be honest, who eats just 1 or 2 cubes? Watermelon is easy to overeat, and that overload can quickly stress an already sensitive metabolic system. Now, watermelon isn't inherently bad, but it's not the free pass fruit we once believed it was. If you have prediabetes, diabetes, circulation issues, or chronic inflammation, it may be time to enjoy this fruit in moderation or choose gentler alternatives. Because if something is seemingly harmless as watermelon can quietly undermine your leg strength, what about a fruit that's not only sweet, but packed with acid, too? Let's take a closer look at oranges and why they may be assaulting your joints without you even realizing it. 5. Oranges, the acidic assault on joints. If watermelon tricks you with sweetness, oranges deceive with reputation. They've long been considered a staple of a healthy lifestyle, high in vitamin C, immune boosting, and often part of a well-meaning breakfast. For many older adults, starting the day with a glass of orange juice feels like a wise, nurturing choice. But beneath the tangy taste lies a surprising threat, one that your aging joints may already be feeling. Oranges, particularly in juice form, are highly acidic. They contain citric acid in concentrations that can be irritating to the digestive tract and, more importantly, to the joints, especially in seniors who already deal with arthritis, bursitis, or age-related joint wear. In my years of clinical practice, I've seen how acidic diets, even those coming from healthy fruits, can aggravate inflammation in ways that are subtle at first but eventually hard to ignore. You may notice it as morning stiffness in the knees or a soreness in your hips that lingers after sitting. Maybe it's that familiar lockup sensation when trying to rise from a chair or take the first steps after rest. These symptoms can often be linked to low-grade, chronic joint inflammation, and acidity from citrus fruits may be playing a bigger role than you think. And let's not forget the sugar factor. Oranges contain a significant amount of natural sugars, and when consumed as juice, those sugars enter your bloodstream quickly, without the buffering effects of fiber. This can lead to insulin fluctuations, systemic inflammation, and reduced circulation, particularly to your lower limbs, where tight vessels and aging tissues already struggle to stay nourished. The result? A double impact: acid that wears on the joints, and sugar that stresses your vascular system, both of which reduce mobility and contribute to the slow loss of leg strength that many seniors mistakenly attribute solely to age. Now, am I saying to never touch an orange again? No. But if you're consuming them daily, especially as juice, or if you're managing joint pain or swelling, it may be time to reconsider how this seemingly healthy habit is impacting your mobility. Because if oranges, so bright and familiar, can quietly erode joint health, what about a fruit that bites back with both sugar and acid? Let's move on to fruit number 6, green apples, a hidden source of leg pain, and discover why even this crisp favorite may be working against your stride. 6. Green apples, a hidden source of leg pain. If oranges wear down your joints with acid and sugar, green apples do something a little more deceptive. They sneak in under the label of clean eating, while quietly making movement harder. Green apples are often seen as the smarter fruit choice. Their tartness suggests less sugar, and their crisp bite feels refreshing, especially compared to sweeter, softer options. For many seniors, a green apple a day seems like a responsible, low-guilt snack. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not just about sugar. It's about how your aging body responds to acidity, starches, and how these compounds affect your legs. One thing I've observed consistently over the years: older adults with joint pain, fibromyalgia, or chronic muscle fatigue often react poorly to malic acid, a naturally occurring compound found in high amounts in green apples. While malic acid has some benefits when used in specific dosages, in everyday foods it can trigger inflammation, particularly in already stressed or sensitive muscle tissues. Have you ever noticed a burning ache in your thighs after walking, or tightness in your knees that seems to come out of nowhere? For some, these may not be just the result of overuse or aging, but a dietary trigger, slowly building tension and soreness over time. And while green apples may contain slightly less sugar than red varieties, they still carry a glycemic load that can spike blood sugar in sensitive individuals, especially when eaten alone, without fat or fiber to slow absorption. This leads to energy crashes, circulatory stress, and reduced oxygen flow to the lower limbs, which in turn can cause your legs to fatigue more quickly and take longer to recover after light activity. What's more, many seniors choose green apples as a quick snack, on an empty stomach, between meals, or even as a replacement for breakfast. That's when the effects become even more pronounced. Without other nutrients to balance it out, the acid and sugar in the apple hit your system all at once, and your legs, joints, and muscles may be the first to feel the consequences. So no, green apples aren't inherently dangerous. But for seniors managing inflammation, joint discomfort, or circulation issues, this crisp favorite may be doing more harm than good, especially if it's a daily habit. And if a simple green apple can cause that kind of discomfort, just wait until we take a closer look at our final fruit, mango, possibly the sweetest saboteur of all. You won't believe how much sugar is packed inside this tropical favorite and what it's doing to your legs. 7. Mango, the sugar bomb for your joints. If green apples hide behind tartness and crisp texture, mango wears its danger in plain sight, under layers of juicy sweetness. There's no denying it. Mangoes are delicious. Their golden flesh, smooth texture, and tropical scent bring back memories of warm days and family gatherings. For many seniors, they're a comfort food, natural, refreshing, and seemingly innocent. But when it comes to your leg strength and joint health, this sweet fruit can quickly become your worst enemy. Here's why. One medium-sized mango contains over 40 grams of natural sugar, more than a can of soda. And while this sugar may be natural, it doesn't act any differently in the bloodstream. In fact, in older adults, especially those dealing with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or circulation issues, that sugar overload can set off a cascade of inflammation, nerve sensitivity, and vascular stress. In my work with older adults, I've seen this too often. A senior enjoying a mango smoothie every evening, only to wonder why they're waking up with burning feet, swelling ankles, or aching calves. The culprit isn't always obvious, but sugar doesn't lie. Over time, it damages the small blood vessels and nerve endings that supply your legs. That burning sensation in your toes? The tingling at night? It may not be just aging, it could be your body struggling to handle the sugar storm you didn't know you were creating. What's especially dangerous about mango is how easy it is to overconsume. It tastes light, refreshing, and without fiber or fat to slow it down, it rushes into your system, spiking blood glucose and encouraging water retention. That excess fluid doesn't just make you feel bloated, it can settle in the knees, ankles, and feet, making walking painful and stairs feel like a challenge. Now, I'm not saying mango must be banished forever, but if you're eating it regularly, especially in smoothies, dried fruit blends, or fruit bowls, you may be feeding the very inflammation that's robbing your legs of strength. So here we are, 7 fruits that most people assume are healthy, but for aging bodies, especially those over 60, can quietly lead to weaker legs, painful joints, and reduced mobility. But here's the good news, you're not powerless. Now that you know what to limit, let me show you what to eat instead, fruits that fight inflammation, support circulation, and help you rebuild the strength in your legs naturally. Let's move into the healing part of this journey. Now that we've uncovered the 7 fruits that may be quietly working against your leg strength, you might feel surprised, maybe even frustrated. But please don't let that discourage you. I always remind the seniors I work with, knowledge is power, and when you learn what's right for your body today, you reclaim control over how you feel tomorrow. This next chapter isn't about giving up fruit. It's about choosing the ones that heal instead of harm, especially for aging bodies where circulation slows, joints become more delicate, and sugar tolerance decreases. Let's begin with berries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These little powerhouses are loaded with antioxidants that support the tiny blood vessels in your legs and feet, helping improve circulation and reduce stiffness. I've seen seniors simply swap sugary fruits for a cup of mixed berries and feel lighter, steadier, and more energized within weeks. Then there are cherries, especially tart cherries, which contain compounds that help lower uric acid and ease inflammation, perfect for those managing arthritis or gout. Just a handful a few times a week can make a difference. While not a typical fruit bowl item, avocados deserve a place here. They're rich in healthy fats, potassium, and magnesium, all critical for reducing joint stress, balancing blood sugar, and supporting muscle function. Unlike sweet fruits, they provide energy without spikes or crashes, helping you move through the day with stability. Next is papaya, a gentle, easy-to-digest fruit with natural enzymes like papain that support both digestion and inflammation control. For seniors with gut sensitivity or aching joints, papaya offers comfort and nourishment in every bite. And finally, pears, mildly sweet and full of soluble fiber. When eaten with the skin and paired with a bit of protein or healthy fat, pears deliver steady energy without overwhelming your system. The key here isn't to fear fruit, it's to choose with intention. Aging doesn't mean giving up joy or flavor. It means being wiser with what we feed our bodies. Your legs, your joints, your heart, they're all listening to every bite. So give them the kind of nourishment that strengthens rather than weakens. Replace the fruits that inflame with those that restore. Support your body's ability to walk, climb, and rise with confidence. Because every small shift adds up, every better choice brings you closer to the strength and freedom you deserve. And it all starts with what you place on your plate. In just a moment, I want to leave you with one final thought, one that speaks not just to your body, but to your spirit. Because the journey of aging isn't about slowing down, it's about living fully, bravely, and intentionally. Let's close with that. Before we end, I want to speak to you, not just as someone who studies health, but as someone who's walked through the same seasons of life. Aging isn't always easy. Some mornings, your legs feel heavier than they used to. Some evenings, your joints ache even after a quiet day. And sometimes, you wonder if this is just how it's going to be from now on. But let me remind you of something important. You're not powerless, and this isn't the end of your strength. We've spent this time together looking at what might be silently stealing your mobility. That matters. But what matters even more is that you now have the clarity to make new choices, choices that support your health, your independence, and your ability to move through life with confidence. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just one thoughtful step at a time. Start by being kinder to your body, especially your legs. Choose fruits that nourish instead of inflame. Pay attention to how you feel after you eat, not just what tastes good in the moment, but what supports you an hour, a day, or a week later. That's not just nutrition, that's wisdom. And if this video helped you, even just a little, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below with the number 1 if something resonated with you, or 0 if there's something you'd like us to improve. Your feedback truly helps me shape future content with you in mind. And if you found value here, please tap the like button. It tells YouTube this is content worth sharing with others just like you. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. I post weekly videos designed to help seniors live stronger, more vibrant lives, one simple shift at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me. I don't take it lightly. And I hope, wherever you are in your journey, you'll keep moving forward, not just with your feet, but with your heart. Because aging isn't about giving up. It's about choosing differently. And you, my friend, still have many strong steps ahead. Until next time, stay well, stay curious, and stay kind to your legs.